This is your October market update, and the market is getting destroyed. We're gonna go over the market update, the underlying issues in the coming months, and the future outlook of this market. Sales are down almost 50%. New listings are down 11.7%, which is the lowest for any October since 2010. Price has also reflected that and has come down almost 6% from last year. We need to keep it in context because it's easy to get lost in the weeds that we're in. The past 2 years were historical record years. Last year, we had 121,000 sales, which is a record year. With historical low interest rates, we knew that the buyers and activity was borrowed from the future. This year, we're at 67,000 sales year to date, and in October, we had just under 5,000 sales. So we're actually on pace. We're only 2 months away from 2023. Yes, this year's flown by. We're on pace for about 80,000 sales this year. The 10-year average, though, has been around 92,000 sales per year. So we're below the 10-year average, and that's kind of expected because if last year was a record year, borrowing from the future, it's going to average out back to around 92,000. As you may have heard, interest rates went up another 0.5% a couple weeks ago. This was lower than expected. Many people were expecting it to go 75 points up. I was thinking it might even go 100 points up, but it was only 50 points. So that's interesting to see because I think that is an indication that they want to gradually increase the rates as opposed to shocking the market even more. So we're expecting to get a couple more interest rate increases. We're probably going to get one in December and probably again in the new year. Another interesting note is that they increased the foreign buyer tax. They increased it to 25%. Now this is interesting because they are already banning foreign buyers starting January 1st. So I'm not sure what they're trying to do for the next 2 months just to try and grab another 5%. Is there a rush of foreign buyers right now before they completely ban it? You can watch the implications of banning foreign buyers in our video here. You may have heard that Ontario proposed the More Homes Built Faster Act. Now this hasn't been passed yet. This is intended to remove any red tape to pass on the responsibilities or opportunities to residents for adding additional units on their property, whether it's garden suites or basement apartments. They are trying to empower residents to put more units online. They're trying to transfer the responsibilities away from developers and to the residents. Now, there's a couple of challenges with this. I'm not sure if they've discussed this or have considered this, but this is going to kind of remove some of the opportunities or the residents' rights to have a say of what happens in their community. There's a lot more to talk about and unpack there, so we're going to do another video on that. For more daily real estate updates, you can follow us on Instagram. So here are some underlying issues in the coming months. Variable mortgages. We've talked about the trigger rates, and the stress test is doing its job because of the threshold of qualifying at 2% above your current mortgage rates. As the interest rates have continued to increase, many and more mortgages are hitting that trigger rate. As rates continue to rise, this might go higher than most people anticipate or remain higher longer than we anticipate. We might see some sellers distress selling in the coming months. Because the rates were so low and the housing market went up so much over the last 2 years, some buyers got into the market and stretched themselves pretty thin. With historical low interest rates, a lot of buyers were getting into the market, and now as interest rates go up, some people might not be able to afford to keep their home. Now, some people might not even be able to afford to sell their home. What this means is their property is underwater, where the property value is below the loan amount in the home. So there's no equity at all, and people can't even afford to sell. There's going to be more interest rate increases in the coming months, and it might stay high for a while longer before they come back down. If you want a discussion about your real estate position and what your options are, you can book a free call with me in the Calendly link below. So what does the future of the market look like? We need to keep an eye on supply and demand. This is basic economics, but in real estate, what are some of the things we need to pay attention to? The first thing is interest rates. Obviously, this is affecting people's buying power. We started this year at a quarter point. We've gone up 3.5%, and now we're at 3.75%. The next thing is unemployment rate. We're hovering around 5% in Ontario, and that's pretty good. In Canada, we have 1 million job vacancies, and about 390,000 of those are in Ontario. As long as people have jobs, they can afford to live. They can either buy or rent. And this is ultimately going to sustain the demand. If unemployment goes up, then we're going to be in trouble. But with the job market being that we need workers, this is a good outlook on the economy and the real estate market. The last thing is immigration. People that come to Canada need a place to live. Whether they buy or rent doesn't really matter. They still need a place to live. Canada just announced their immigration plan. Last year, we brought 405,000 newcomers. This year, we're on track for about 450,000. Next year, they're planning to bring 465,000 newcomers, and in 2024 they want to bring in 485,000 newcomers, and 2025 they want to bring in 500,000 newcomers. So based on the stats, about 30% of the newcomers choose to live in the Toronto and GTA area. 44% of the total actually choose to live in Ontario. So some might be in Ottawa and other places in Ontario. Based on the numbers, we're expecting to bring in 200,000 newcomers every year into Ontario. This is obviously going to increase the demand, whether people rent or buy. We'll see how that goes going into the future. So that's the demand side. We need to discuss what the supply side is, because this is basic economics 101. We mentioned that new listings are down 11.6% from last year, which is the lowest level of new listings in October since 2010. We also mentioned that Ontario proposed the More Homes Built Faster Act, so we'll see how that actually shakes out and what it actually looks like once it comes and once it gets passed. Ontario is also aiming to build 1.5 million homes in the next 10 years. Now, as we mentioned in terms of the immigration, we're bringing in 200,000 newcomers into Ontario every single year, and that's expecting to grow. If we're building 1.5 million homes in the next 10 years, that's only 150,000 new homes per year. Is that going to be enough? Is that going to make housing affordable? We'll wait to see how that looks. The problem is with building is we don't have enough construction workers to actually build the homes. That is one of the biggest shortfalls in terms of labor that we need. We are in uncertain times in the market, and it looks like the market's going to get a little bit slower before it gets a little bit better. So for the time being, this isn't all bad news. If you're looking to buy and sell in the same market, you're still going to net out quite about the same. If you're looking to buy in this market, there's less competition, obviously, as we mentioned, but homes are also at a discount right now. Sellers, if you're thinking of selling, there's not a lot of homes for sale right now, as we discussed with the shortage of listings. We can still position your home to sell successfully. If you're thinking of buying and selling in this market, we have home buyer and seller guides. You can download them in the link in the description below. Thanks for watching. I'm here to help. You can watch our other videos here. And if you enjoy this content, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.